Hey everyone, thank you for joining us today. Today we're going to be discussing health insurance for realtors. My name is Mike Ribel. I'm a branch manager with Realty Advantage in Rockville.
And I'm Christine Gray. I'm another one of our branch managers here. Hope Aris is on an appointment, but she is also here normally. I just want to say I'm very happy to have Jonathan here today. He's so knowledgeable in this field, and he has explained some different options and strategies that I didn't even know were possible for saving. So very thankful for you to take your time today, Jonathan. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike and Chris, for hosting me. I've been in the insurance business for 8 years now, specializing in individual and group insurance for health insurance. Most of my clients are individuals. I work with small groups, business owners, employers as well. And within individuals, we have a lot of under 65 and a lot of over 65 on Medicare as well.
Yeah, I'm super excited. I've been in real estate for 26 years, and the majority of the people watching this are self-employed business owners as agents. So health insurance has always been a challenge. So we've worked personally with Jonathan now, and I learned a lot through the process, whether it be on our company plans or individual plans. So hopefully you guys get some value out of this. If you have any questions, we'll be putting up his contact information. Please reach out to him directly. And Jonathan, I'll turn it over to you.
So there are several different reasons why you might want to use someone who's a local agent as opposed to just going online and clicking on something online, which is that you want to know someone who's knowledgeable of all the different plans in your area, whether they're individual plans, whether they're group plans. You want to know if you're available for any financial assistance that's available. And also you want to make sure that you have a plan that's going to cover all your doctors if you want to keep your doctors.
Yeah, that's one thing that was very helpful when I was working with Jonathan is him asking us who our primary care was, a pediatrician. So it's great to have someone to be able to look through that for you. I know there's some big dates coming up for everybody, so this is the time to be reaching out to Jonathan if you guys are considering options here.
So if you're going to sign up for an individual plan, it's different than the group plans. The group plans, if you have an employer plan, they have their own 12-month cycle whenever it started. But when you're getting an individual plan, there's a special enrollment period that you have to sign up ever since Obamacare started. And so the enrollment this year in Maryland is November 1st to January 15th. In previous years, in recent years, it has been only until December 15th, but now it's from November until mid-January. But it depends when you sign up in terms of your start date. If you sign up in November or December, then you'll start your coverage in January. If you wait till January to sign up, then you wouldn't start your coverage until February.
Obviously, there's a lot of options out there. Again, Jonathan was very helpful in being able to navigate the different plans available, and it's everything is obviously can be customized to your family needs, your health needs, and there's a lot more flexibility I thought was out there as well.
So there are a lot of different pieces to the puzzle. Sometimes someone might have an employer plan available, if not through their own employer, but through their spouse's employer. And that might be the easiest thing for them to do, and they may be on it. But sometimes those prices go up, and they make it very hard in terms of affordability. So one way is it's possible sometimes for the employee's spouse or dependents to leave the plan and get their own individual plan. And sometimes they can save a lot of money that way because many employers only pay a significant amount of the insurance for their employee, but they don't pay anything, or they pay much less for the employee's spouse or dependents. So sometimes they can save a lot of money by getting their own plan off of the employer plan. Another area that people can save money is through federal subsidies. That there are subsidies actually on the federal and the state levels. In Maryland, it goes through the Maryland Health Connection. In other states, it goes through the Federal Exchange. A lot of people are not aware of subsidies. Sometimes people think that subsidies are only for people in the lowest income levels, but in fact, there are many middle-class Americans who qualify for subsidies. The subsidies are based on the family size and the income. It very much varies from person to person, from family to family. But for example, you'd be surprised sometimes by how much people can be making and still be getting a significant subsidy. I recently had a case of a couple who are 57 and 59 years old, and their household income was $90,000, and they were not aware of any subsidy being available. And when we put it through the system, through the Maryland Health Connection, we found them qualifying for a subsidy of $661 a month, which made a huge difference for their health insurance costs.
Yeah, I was not aware of this program at all. And again, like you said, Jonathan, I thought it was you know, as far as the very minimum income requirements, but definitely take advantage of this. And again, it varies by family income level. So I would reach out to Jonathan directly if you have any questions about that. I know, Chris, you were pleasantly surprised to hear about this availability as well.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, I never knew this was an available option for people, and I think a lot of people don't. They don't know about it.
So another way to save, sometimes people are not aware of, is there are instances where the parent or the parents are not eligible for a subsidy based on their income, but their children would be eligible for the Maryland Children's Health Program, which is a program similar to Medicaid offered for children only, and it's very low cost. Sometimes it's free, and sometimes there's a small premium of up to $76 per month. But that can be a huge savings when you take the children off the employer plan and put them onto the children's health program. Another example where people are often not aware of financial assistance through the government is if a woman becomes pregnant. Sometimes you have a situation where a woman is not eligible for a subsidy, but if she becomes pregnant, she becomes eligible for a subsidy, or she becomes eligible even better for Medicaid, which would pay for the entire birth and all this cost associated with pregnancy, and becomes a huge savings.
Sorry about that.
So, and there's so many different ways to tackle the challenges of rising premiums and the high cost of insurance. One way is simply to toggle with and to play with the deductible. Very often people are on low deductible plans. It might be a deductible of $1,000 or $2,000. And if they're healthy and don't have a lot of ongoing costs, they might be very comfortable to go to a higher deductible and save a significant amount of money. There is, of course, more risk because there's a high deductible, and it's not the best for everyone. But in many cases, we are finding people are going to higher deductibles in order to save money. So this really leads to another issue. Sometimes you have people who are not so comfortable going with a high deductible because of the extra risks. What if there's a hospitalization? What if there's an accident? What if something happens that costs a lot of money, for example, a cancer and so on? So one way we can kind of get the best of both worlds, which is to go with a high deductible plan and still keep the cost of coverage low, is by utilizing supplemental insurance. So for example, you can have the situation of someone who's 29 years old, relatively healthy person, doesn't go to the doctor much, maybe once a year for a checkup, if that. So, and they are on a low deductible plan with $1,000 deductible, paying, for example, $330 a month. Now, they would qualify here in Maryland for what's called a young adult plan. The young adult plan has a high deductible, $9,100 this year, but it's only $130 a month. So a significant difference between the young adult plan and the gold plan, but it's a high deductible. What if, God forbid, this person ends up being hospitalized and has some terrible accident or something? So we could explore the option of getting a supplemental coverage for $70 a month, for example. And then if you put together the cost of the $130 and the $70 for a supplemental, that person's total cost is only $200. It's still significantly less than the $330 on the gold plan, and it does mitigate the risk a lot by having the supplemental insurance to help fill the gaps between the deductible and the person's costs. We have another situation which often comes up. Sometimes you have the people who have a family, and everybody in the family is on the same plan. So typically the plans are rated by metal tiers that are called bronze, silver, and gold. And the bronze plans are the lowest cost plans, and the gold plans are the more expensive ones. So let's say you have a family of three, a 45-year-old and a 42-year-old, and they have a child that's 12 years old. And they are all on a very expensive plan. They're on a gold plan, and they're paying over $1,000 a month. Now, the reason they're on this plan is that one of the family members has significant health costs. They're diabetic and they pay a lot for medication. Maybe they go to the doctor a lot. Maybe they have a lot of therapy, or maybe there's a surgery, or there's a birth coming up. There's so many reasons why that individual person may have real expenses. However, maybe the 42-year-old and the 12-year-old are perfectly clean, barely go to a doctor, maybe go to the doctor once a year for a checkup, if that. And they don't really need, or don't have an immediate need for, all of that comprehensive coverage. So we can actually divide the family. They're not required to all be on the same plan. You can keep the 45-year-old, for example, on that expensive gold plan, where they'll have the lowest copays for medications and the lowest copays for doctor visits and a low deductible in case there's a hospitalization and so on, and keep the other healthy family members, rather remove the healthy family members from the gold plan and have them on a bronze plan, which would have much lower cost.
Which I wasn't aware you could even do that. So this was enlightening for us as well.
Right. So for example, let's say they were paying over $1,000 for all of them to be on the gold plan. By moving the two healthy family members to a bronze plan, they can save a couple $100 a month, and maybe they would be paying $825 instead of the $1,050 that we were talking about before, saving $225 a month. So now another thing to be aware of with health insurance is Medicare. Medicare is a totally different system, very different than what people are used to before they turn 65. It is rather complicated, and to have an agent is extremely helpful to help navigate all the different moving pieces with Medicare. If you are turning 65 soon, or even if you're on Medicare and you're working and you're on an employer plan, you might save a lot of money coming off the employer plan and getting your own individual plan with Medicare. Or if you're on an employer plan, you plan on retiring. A lot of people continue working because they think they need the insurance with the employer plan in order to save money. And they don't realize if they would actually go on Medicare, they would pay way less than they're paying on their employer plan. And now, just to give the broad strokes of Medicare, but it's really best to talk on a one-to-one basis. But the broad strokes of Medicare is that Medicare generally covers 80% of the medical expenses. The beneficiary is responsible for the entire 20%, and there's no limit on that 20%. It's important when a person gets Medicare to sign up for prescription drug coverage, because there's actually a late enrollment penalty if someone doesn't sign up for prescription drug coverage when they start, if they sign up later. And Medicare itself does not cover dental, vision, and hearing aids. And these are things which are of concern often to the senior population, to have something for dental, vision, and hearing. That's also something which we can talk about. And in terms of Medicare, there are two major systems, two ways in general to help cover the gaps cover those things that Medicare itself doesn't cover. There are Medicare Advantage plans and Medicare Supplement plans. There are many different types of Medicare Advantage and Medicare Supplement plans. The plans that are available vary depending on your state and even your zip code and county within the state. So it's important to know what's available in your area and get someone who's on top of the local options and can help explain and narrow it down for you and show you the cost-benefit analysis of all the different various options for you in your location. Okay. So now it's towards the end of September. We actually do not know the prices yet for 2024 for the under 65 individual health insurance. They won't be released until closer to the open enrollment, which starts November 1st. Unfortunately, in the group market, we have seen recently that the group plans that are being renewed now, September, October, many of them have had increases of 12, 13, 14%, which is possibly tied to inflation and so on. So it wouldn't be a shock if the rates go up also for individual plans in November for next year, which makes it even more important to make sure you're getting the best bang for the buck and get the help that you need from an expert, from an agent for under 65 insurance. And that's going to start, the enrollment starts on November 1st, in about 5 weeks from now. And of course, Medicare also has its open enrollment. The Medicare open enrollment will start October 15th. And it's equally as important to get and have an agent, someone to speak to, make sure that you're getting the best coverage and getting something within your budget.
Yeah,
I'm
well,
happy
we
to help.
again, there's a lot of information here, and I know Chris and I were both very, very impressed with Jonathan and his breadth of knowledge with all this. So reach out to him directly. Is it best for them to call you or email? Does it matter, Jonathan?
Both are great. If you call and I can't answer, please leave a message. I'll try my best to call you back within 24 hours.
Fantastic. Chris, do you have anything to add?
No, just again, a thank you. I mean, Jonathan is clearly so knowledgeable, but he's also patient. He's been very kind and helped out a few of the people in our office already. So I encourage you to reach out to him and see how he can help you. Thank you so much, Jonathan, for being here.
Thank you so much, Mike and Chris, for having me on this call.
No problem at all. And again, we release these updates on a weekly basis, and we try to have a guest expert in on a monthly basis just to bring some value to the agents. So if we can help you in any way to grow your business or anything else we can do to support, just let us know. And thanks for joining us. Take care.